Hello there guys, my name is MrYorkiesWorld, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video I'm actually going to be discussing the latest update from the Microsoft Flight Simulator website, which includes some fantastic new screenshots, one of which I'm actually going to be using as my desktop wallpaper as of right now, and the update also provides us with another handful of short videos which I'm going to go through and sort of showcase in this video as well. Again, if you do want to stay up to date with the latest Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 things, I would head over to flightsimulator.com and take a look at the latest updates and all the previous ones as well. This particular one, I believe, was from the 12th of September 2019. So to begin with, let's jump right into it. So we've got a screenshot I'm going to take a look at here, and this is actually the one that I've got currently as my desktop wallpaper. I think it's absolutely fantastic. We can see an absolutely amazing wing view with lots of nice reflections, and again we can see those tremendous clouds and the sky textures that I've mentioned in the past and that we've seen in previous images and videos. For me, they look extremely realistic. I love the reflection of the sun on the wing there, as well as everything else. I don't know what sort of aircraft this is, but it's just absolutely tremendous. The view is absolutely amazing. If we look a bit closer, we can also see the ground lighting as well, and it looks as if this shot was taken from sort of like an evening time, maybe early morning, but I'm probably going for evening. We can see the ground lighting as well, which looks absolutely fantastic in my opinion. It's something I've personally been waiting to see, is a good lighting package, or at least good lighting which is built into a simulator. And to be honest, from what I've seen from the videos, like the trailer for example, and from the images that we've seen so far, it looks as if Flight Simulator 2020 has got some pretty nice lighting, specifically at night time. So that should be a nice advantage to some of us out there who've had to buy products such as black marble, for example. But there we go. So the next screenshot shows us some extremely detailed terrain with a few light clouds there as well, and a river flowing through the middle of it. We can see quite a bit of detail there on the shoreline, which appears to have a nice coating of sand. So there's some beaches there. The entire area in general does seem to be well populated with trees as well, which in P3D, for example, I mean, I'm not sure about X-Plane, but in P3D, I've noticed that the trees can seem a little bit spaced out. They don't really sort of get as close as they would do in an actual forest, for example, and that's always been not a major issue for me, because I'm not really bothered. I'm more bothered about the flight dynamics and actually getting from A to B. But for those of us out there who are bothered about stuff like that, you can see here that the entire area does indeed appear to be very well populated with trees. The horizon, that looks absolutely fantastic. We've got like a bloom effect going on, which adds a little bit of a bluish effect, sort of whitey blue that you would see in real life, in my opinion, which makes it look more realistic. You know, when you're flying through a simulator, you want things to look as realistic as possible. And we look at tools such as PTA and Tomato Shade, and those are the only real tools I've known to really give a realistic horizon, whereas on this occasion, it looks as if it's been tuned, assuming that this is the product out of the box even, it looks as if it looks pretty realistic to me. Next up, we've got what looks like a very desert-like rural area, with a small town in there just off to the right, and we can see a little bit of an airport as well if you zoom in. I am absolutely terrible with geography, so I don't know where this is, but it looks very, very detailed indeed. We can see some low-level clouds over the terrain, which do seem quite detailed, to be honest. It doesn't look like we've got any sort of repeated textures or models or anything like that, so it looks to be some dynamic-looking cloud models in there. It's not just this screenshot, but obviously the other screenshots we've seen, we can see the same effect. Every cloud seems to have its own unique sort of dynamics, which is obviously something which is quite important. I mean, to me, like I say, again, when I'm flying through the simulator, I don't always concentrate on what things look like in terms of clouds and stuff. I like things to look as realistic as they can, but at the same time, I'm more bothered about the flight dynamics. I'm more bothered about things looking good in the simulator itself, with the aircraft that I'm flying, not necessarily the environment. So we can see some low-level clouds and everything. They look pretty nice. And the atmosphere looks really good as well, with that sort of bluish tinge that we saw in the last screenshot. Makes things look really nice. Again, it's sort of like a bloom effect is what I would call it, but there might be somebody out there who's got a better description of it than me, but there we go. So next up, we've actually got a slightly different image, which looks like it may or may not be taken from the same or sort of similar place to the last one. We're at a lower altitude as well, and we can see there are some darker clouds in there. We've got a mixture of sort of white and black and grey and all these different colours, which is really nice to see that we've got that variation. The land textures and the terrain textures look really nice as well. It looks like it's been taken from an angle, which could mean it's obviously from an aircraft which is turning, from the looks of it, to the left. So this may well be a shot that was taken from an in-sim aircraft, or it may just be the fact that they've just tilted the camera to make it look like that. I've got no idea. But we can definitely see the amazing water detail. We can see the amazing clouds on and the textures on those sort of rocky areas and mountainous terrain, which is absolutely fantastic. So moving on to the next one, we've got another one of my favourite images, which seems to be another evening shot, taken from what I would say this aircraft is. It looks like a Cessna Caravan type aircraft. We can't really make a great deal of detail out of the terrain, or indeed of the sky. It's very, very neutral in terms of the environment. Everything looks a little bit blurry, to be honest, like smooth, sort of blurry, but that could just be because of the lighting, and obviously it might be over a sort of a desert area. But it still looks beautiful with those vibrant red and orange colours regardless. We can see the sunset off to the left-hand side of the screen. The aircraft itself looks very detailed. The reflections and the textures look really nice as well. This could be a stock aircraft, although we could be looking at something which is sort of like an add-on aircraft or a third-party aircraft, which doesn't necessarily become readily available with the simulator. We'll have to find out closer to the time of release, but I hope that this Cessna Caravan will be involved as part of the stock aircraft that are included with the simulator out of the box. So our next image is absolutely fantastic. This is another one of my favourites, and to be honest, when I was setting the desktop wallpaper, I had a difficulty in deciding between this one and the previous one that we mentioned. We can see a vast array of detail coming from the clouds and the lighting. We've got some nice cloud shadows in there, along with a mixture of grey and white clouds as well, which makes it look sort of overcast in areas, but we can also see the blue sky as well. The mountains look incredible as well, and we can see the bottom of the screen. We've got an immense amount of detail in grass textures. That looks absolutely fantastic, sort of 3D grass. Looks very good, very realistic, which is something that in the current simulators, I think, especially with P3D, I'm not sure about X-Plane because I don't really use it, but in P3D especially, I don't think I've seen grass that looks that good, and it looks more 2D in P3D than it does 3D. Whereas this looks a lot better. So hopefully that'll be something which we see quite a lot of, and hopefully it won't affect performance very much at all. So finally, we move on to the last screenshot. We've got some videos after this, but we move on to the last screenshot that we've got. And we can see it's out of the window of a small aircraft here, showing some of the amazing terrain textures with the fields. We've got some roads, some houses. We've got a little bit of water, like some lakes or rivers or whatever. Everything on the ground looks as if it is definitely HD. I would say maybe 1080, probably even 4K, to be honest. Really, really detailed, really, really interesting. The interior of the cockpit as well, if we look at the actual cockpit, because obviously this shot is mainly of the outside, but if we look at the cockpit, or what we can see, that looks really good as well. The text is quite clear, and the lighting looks great. Everything's sort of like very crisp. The text on the dashboard there is very, very clear, which I've noticed in a lot of these stock aircraft, especially from P3D. Everything looks good from a distance, but as soon as you zoom in, there's not very much detail, whereas this looks as if something that if you did zoom in would be quite detailed, which is always something to look forward to, especially for a stock aircraft as well. We only tend to really get HD textures from aircraft which are third party, so to have something like this really, really, really detailed from a stock aircraft would be absolutely fantastic. We've got some clouds on the top right, which again, they look really detailed. Possibly a mixture of, yeah, we've got like a grey, dark grey, light grey, white. We've got a mixture of everything in there, sort of a hazy atmosphere as well. So that's obviously a different type of weather that's going on there. So finally, we move on to the videos that Microsoft have revealed, and I'm going to actually let you be the judge of those. So I'm going to shut up and just let you see the amazing videos that Microsoft have released alongside these screenshots. So, yeah, let's get into that. Okay, so as you've seen from the pictures, and obviously as you've seen from the videos there, for me, this is extremely exciting. It's a brilliant update from Microsoft, showing off some really cool shots and videos of the upcoming simulator in 2020. I can't wait for more of these updates to come, because it really gives me the chance to make videos like this and to sort of give my rundown and my opinions as a simulator, as a simulation enthusiast, who is literally stuck to P3D at the moment. It's really good to be able to see another simulator which, out of the box, assuming that it is out of the box that we're seeing this content, looks absolutely fantastic. So I can't wait for some more updates to come. If you want to get down to the nitty-gritty and all the written stuff, you can head over to the website. I'm not really a person who likes to sort of write things down. I do like to write things down, but when I'm finding out about something, I like to watch videos rather than sit there reading through loads of information. But if you want to read through all the fine details, including the development roadmap, you can head over to the Flight Simulator website, which will be linked down below. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you're excited or as excited as I am, because I really cannot wait for this new simulator to come out next year. It's definitely going to be a huge part of this channel. So the next flight that I'm going to be doing in P3D is going to be the new full flight video, which I'm afraid it seems to be taking a lot longer than I expected, or that I hoped for it to take. I was expecting to have that video up a lot sooner, but keep a lookout for that over the next few days anyway. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.